When we came up with the original idea of Toy Story, about the notion of toys being alive, the original pitch was, it seems like, so far from what the final Toy Story was. But throughout the development, from that original pitch through to the final product, there was so many great ideas that came out of it. You know, a lot of them made it into the first Toy Story, but a lot of them didn't. We always believe that a good idea will always find its way to the surface again.
Yeah, there were a lot of ideas in our original pitch for Toy Story that were developed, like the obsessive toy collector and the yard sale outside the house and Wheezy the squeeze toy penguin. Those were all great ideas, but they just they weren't about the central theme, the central core of Toy Story 1, which was the relationship between Woody and Buzz. So we had to back burner all those ideas, and at the time we thought, you know, they're just gone. We're never going to see these again.
That's one of the toughest things when you make a movie, is having the guts to cut out something that in isolation makes complete sense and is very entertaining, but doesn't service the whole. And two of the biggest losses, two of the most difficult things to cut on Toy Story were the opening Buzz Lightyear cartoon idea and the idea of a nightmare of showing Woody's fears. And when we cut them out, they just felt like they were so accurate from a certain perspective about the life of toys and kids.
Hey, Woody, you don't glow. I don't think I like you anymore.
We just loved the nightmare so much. We made a little spoof of it in one of the interstitials, the little Toy Story treats. We found we were at a point where nobody was really getting the emotion of how much he feared that he was at the winters of his years. And that's when we just, well, geez, the nightmare. If you just tweak the nightmare to put it that way, it does exactly what we thought it would do for us in Toy Story 1.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
One of the things that we always wanted to start the original Toy Story with was a 2D animated cartoon of Buzz Lightyear. We always felt that Buzz Lightyear the toy was actually merchandising from some cartoon that you had never seen.
Bongo, fire atomic maces!
But we felt at the time that we were trying to establish at the beginning of Toy Story the bond between Andy and Woody. Woody was Andy's favorite toy. And by having him watch this Buzz Lightyear cartoon, it was defeating that purpose. And so we scrapped that idea and focused on establishing a little play action with Andy where Woody was the hero. And that was the beginning of Toy Story, and it worked perfectly for what we needed in that movie. So when Toy Story 2 came along, we thought, why not let's go back to our original idea and start with a big Buzz Lightyear adventure? And so that evolved into, instead of a cartoon, into what you think is just a great action-packed Buzz Lightyear adventure, showing him to be the great space hero that he thought he was. And of course it turns out to be a video game. And so we thought, this is perfect, you know, to really kind of fake the audience out. It's like, you know, oh boy, you know, come in with our popcorn, we're gonna watch Toy Story in Andy's room and all like that, and then start with this, like, bam, this action-packed space adventure. And so we really were excited when that idea came back into Toy Story 2.
It's really ironic that now finally there's going to be a 2D animated version of the Buzz Lightyear show.
Buzz Lightyear of Star Command!
But it feels right. I mean, we always knew in our heads back in '92, almost, you know, getting on 10 years soon, where he originally came from. He originally came from that cartoon series. So it really kind of gets this full circle, this kind of cyclical thing.
To infinity and beyond!